What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host that rocked too hard to Tenacious D, and I'm kind of exhausted and sweaty and gross, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledPeople. Alright, this story's called, My Lottery Tickets Aren't Winners? This is a Scam! This happened to me yesterday, and I figured I'd post about it here. So, I live in a small town. Like, really small. The kind of town where everyone knows everyone. In the main part of town, where the schools and shops and restaurants are, there's a convenience store that's owned by this lovely Asian couple, will be important later on, that recently sold a lottery ticket that won $1 million. Because of this, a lot of people stopped buying tickets at our local grocery store since there weren't a lot of people winning anything, and started going to that store instead, including my mom. I personally don't buy lottery tickets, mainly because I don't have money, but it also isn't something I personally find interesting. I bought one when I turned 18 just for the satisfaction of being able to, since I still can't drink or smoke for another year or so. Not legally anyway, but that's about it. However, whenever my mom goes to the convenience store to buy her lottery tickets, I'll come with her because she'll buy me a bag of chips or Pop-Tarts or something because she's a great mom and I'm continuing to be a leech for as long as I can until I go off to college. So it's a normal lottery day. Dinner is done and I'm already hearing the call of Pop-Tarty goodness from all the way in town. And we head out. We get there, get our stuff, and head to the counter. There's one guy ahead of us, so we keep ourselves 6 feet away and wait for him to finish up. Now this dude has 3 small boxes absolutely filled to the brim with lottery tickets. The kinds where a person at the counter scans them, and 90% of the time you hear that annoying jingle that plays for way too long, followed by an automated "winner" comment from the machine. And it turns out to be just another free play or whatever it's called. My lottery knowledge is not exactly extensive. So after we've been waiting for what feels like forever, and I've solved the venipede infestation in Pokemon Go that the store had, still have yet to be thanked for that, by the way, he's done with all of his tickets, and I think all he got from them was like $40. I'm not sure. I just know it wasn't a lot. How did I know it wasn't a lot? Because this guy was enraged. Here's the cast. Entitled douchebag?
Mom.
Me, Pop-Tart boy.
Female owner.
Male owner. What the frick? That's all I get?
Lottery not always win, just have to play again.
English isn't her first language, and normally I'd paraphrase, but I decided not to because of the disgusting way he speaks to them regarding it. Can you speak proper frickin' English? I just spent my entire paycheck on these frickin' things. That sounds like a you problem, bud. Shut the frick up! I'm sure you're wondering why my mom didn't step in to defend me here. She's on my side and would have backed me up if I needed it, but we sort of have a mutual understanding that we can handle ourselves. No yelling here. You have to leave. Shut up, you friggin' mean word. You're supposed to be good at math. More tickets equals more money. I'm willing to bet that you didn't do too well in math class.
Well, at least now we know you aren't the worst mathematician in town. Though with a bet like that, you'd probably win more money than he just did.
It's at this point, male owner comes out to handle things since he wouldn't leave. So does this one speak better English? He did, but he still has an accent. So what is the problem? I tell you what is the problem. You stupid wife not give me enough money. Dude, you bought a crap load of lottery tickets and didn't win. Just go home and scrounge for coins under your couch cushions so you can pay your bills and move on with your undoubtedly sad life. Entitled douchebag doesn't say anything. He just gets up in my face and starts breathing really heavily, like he's about to swing on me. I was already nervous because of the whole pandemic thing, and even though we both had masks on, getting close to a guy who certainly didn't seem to be doing too well hygienically didn't seem like the best type of social distancing. But he was a pretty big guy, and I'm a twig who spends his spare time on Reddit. I go for runs every morning, but that's it. I knew for sure I wasn't gonna be able to take this guy in a fight, and even though my mom would have backed me up if it escalated that far, he probably still would have won. But the owner stepped in to help too. If you don't get out, I'm going to call the police. He left, but slowly, making really messed up comments, mocking him like, still scared. Car de Paris! And really horrible crap like that. We all talked and laughed about it when he was gone and paid for our stuff. But they let me get an extra box of Pop-Tarts for the price of one. S'mores gang, rise up. Wait, s'mores? With Pop-Tarts? Bro, what you smoking? Pass it. My mom's lottery tickets are the ones you scan online, and when we got home from the store, she scanned hers and won $20, which we both laughed our asses off about and confused the hell out of my brother and grandma. But that's about it. I'll update this post if I find out anything new, but I wouldn't be surprised if the guy got shunned by the rest of our town for the way he acted. It's happened before. But we're usually kind of, if you'll apologize, we'll let bygones be bygones. Town, which is to be expected. We're Canadian. Moral of this whole encounter, if you play the lottery, fine. That's your choice and nothing's wrong with that. But don't buy dozens of them and get mad and or racist if you don't make millions. Yeah, guys, lottery tickets are a dangerous game. Okay, as someone who's worked at gas stations for a couple of years at least, I sold a lot of lottery tickets. And let me tell you, those people and the people who buy cigarettes, they're usually the same people, are our most repeat customers. Even people that don't buy cigarettes, so I'm just saying that's how effective they are. And sure, yeah, oh hell yeah, I won $50. Yeah, but you spent like 300 and won like 75 total, so who's really winning here? I mean, if you buy a lottery ticket like once a week or like once a month or something, I'm sure it's fine, but don't like depend on them. That's not gonna work out for you. Alright, so this story's called Entitled Uncle Tries and Fails to Steal Our Money. Just a little background before I start my story. My grandpa, 91, was sick for a long time and he eventually died. He was a pretty rich man and was planning on giving my grandma most of his money. The rest of it went to his 3 kids, my dad, aunt, and uncle, and me and my 2 sisters. My uncle is so obsessed with money and goes so far out of his way to save the slightest penny. He has never had a real job except for being in the military for 15 years. My aunt has also never had a job, but she made money by helping grandma with shopping, yard work, etc. She can't really leave the house and she has a bad hip. Out of their 3 kids, my dad is the only one who got married and had kids. My aunts and uncles still live near my grandma's house, which is still in their hometown. Now to start the story. I was 10 at the time and my sisters, twins, were 12. We had just gotten the news of grandpa's death and we were all very torn up over it. His funeral was 1 week later and that is where we saw entitled uncle walking towards my dad waving a pile of papers. Dad, may you sign these? I already got aunt to sign them, so I only need your signature. My aunt is the youngest of 3, and she's kind of a pushover. If Uncle asked her to do something, she would do it without question. Why would I sign those? It's to give Grandpa's money to me. Your daughters don't need it for anything anyways. Of course I won't sign those. My daughters aren't even going to use the money now. They will get it when they turn 21, and they definitely will then. Why do you need the money anyways? What Grandpa gave to you is more than enough. You are useless. Your daughters would just waste his money. They don't deserve it. After throwing a bunch of insults at my dad, he stormed off and left the funeral. A few hours later, my family went to visit Grandma's house to comfort her after the loss of her husband. And lo and behold, Uncle is there, making Grandma sign papers to turn over her money. I didn't hear much of the conversation after that since my dad made us leave the room, but all I know is that there was a lot of yelling and cursing. About 30 minutes later, my mom told us to get in the car. We were going home. Uncle didn't really bring up the topic for a while, but I started to notice something odd. He started showing up to me and my sister's school events, swim meets, and birthday parties. He lives an hour and a half away from us, but he could never be bothered to take the trip to come visit us before then, which is why I found it strange. Later I learned he was doing this to try to get us on his side so we would convince Dad to sign the papers to turn over our money. I didn't really think about it at the time, but now I realize how desperate he was being. Like, why would you try to guilt your 11 and 13-year-old nieces who didn't understand what was going on to give up money that was going to be theirs in the future? And when I think about it more, why does he even need our money? He already had aunts and grandma's money on top of his own, so why did he think he was so entitled that he needed all of Grandpa's money? Anyway, Dad figures out Uncle's plan and asks him to stop coming to see us because it wasn't going to work. A few months later, Dad learns that Uncle was taking him to court to try to get Dad's money along with mine and my sister's. I don't know all the details since I was only 11 at the time, but I could tell Dad was furious. I didn't actually see the court case, but I know that Uncle lost, and my mom told me that he was also forced to return the money to Aunt and Grandma too. Defeated, he had no choice but to stop asking us for money, or at least I thought so. Years after the court case, Uncle started asking for money again, but this time he was asking my sisters to sign the papers. Dad has told us all that if we were ever asked by Uncle to give him our money, to say no, so that is what they did. I could tell Uncle wasn't expecting that. I think he thought that we had no idea what the papers were for and that we would do anything he told us, but he was sorely mistaken. My sisters might not look smart, but they were able to see right through him. Wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? After that, we never saw Uncle again. He probably knew if he had asked me, I would have said no. My grandpa gave me the money, and I wasn't planning on giving it away to someone who didn't even need it. I'm about to be old enough to inherit the money, and I plan to put it to good use. Thank you so much for reading my first Reddit post, and let me know what you think. Sorry this story wasn't so detailed, but I promise they'll be better in the future. Man, that uncle's a creepy little something, little wackadoo. I think that's from Spider-Man, when they were going through the news interviews, and there was that one dude's like, he didn't like Spider-Man. Man, I love that movie. I gotta watch it again. Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. That's right. I love Spider-Man 3. And if you don't, I don't care. You're ugly. Anyway, that's good that your dad was on your uncle's ass because that's ridiculous. That's crazy, man. Crazy. All right, this story's called Entitled Woman Thinks She's Entitled to 120,000 Pounds. Hey, sorry if this is written badly as it's my first time writing a post on Reddit and I'm also on a phone. People in the story are,
Entitled woman.
my mom's wife's stepdaughter. Oh, that's who that is. Okay.
Mom.
My mom.
Nina.
My mom's wife, Dean, my stepbrother. So it started a couple of days ago. It was Nina's late wife's 2-year anniversary. Entitled Woman came up because it was her mom. She is known for being all about money, and she's quite spoiled. When she came up, she saw that Dean, he's 14 years old, and me, also a 14-year-old male, were downstairs with Mom and Nina. She decided to go to the bar with Mom and her wife, and Entitled Woman's boyfriend was also there. From now on, this is all from my mom's point of view. Okay, so Mom is gonna have normal Zach voice, and then Nina's gonna have... whatever, we'll figure it out. When they got to the bar, this is the interaction they had.
Right, so this is quite awkward for me to say.
Nina thought she was going to ask for a couple thousand because she always does to pay off credit card bills and stuff like that.
I recently saw that you were selling your house, so I'd like my third of it, please.
Mom and Nina were flabbergasted. Nina's late wife did have a third of the house, but she didn't actually pay for any of it. It was all paid for by Nina's parents, and Nina was the one who paid for all of the bills.
What do you mean, your third of the house? You don't even have a third. Yeah, well, my mum did, and it was her wishes that I was taken care of.
Keep in mind, the house was about 428,000 pounds, so she was asking for about 130,000 pounds. Quick, Mops.
No, she didn't pay for any of the house. Her name was on the third, but she wasn't entitled to any of the money. Even if she did pay, in her will, she left everything to me. It doesn't matter what was written on paper. She promised me that I would be taken care of, and you were there when she did. I can send you a copy of the will if you want me to. It's not like you're going to leave me anything. You'll leave it all to her.
She pointed at my mom.
And you,
Still pointing at my mom.
it's not like you're going to leave me anything either. You'll leave it all to the other three.
Referring to me and my 2 other brothers.
You came into this marriage with nothing.
Entitled Woman, you lived here for 2 years without paying bills, without paying for food. OP had to share a room with Dean for 2 years, and the only reason you left is because we paid for the house you now live in. Entitled Woman's boyfriend wasn't saying anything. He just sat there with his head down. After that, they just left. Didn't even say goodbye. Funny thing is, my mom and her wife were the ones who paid for all the drinks. Yeah, see, I was understanding entitled woman's case a little bit until they said all that. Unless you were intentionally omitted from the will, then like I feel like if your mom did pass away, like I feel like you should get something out of it. Not that you should see that as an opportunity to get stuff, you sick, nasty people, but with all this other stuff, yeah, no, she definitely doesn't deserve anything because she was bailed out many times, according to the post. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.